back to What's the Buzz podcast. I am Shawn.
And I am Jordan.
We are still right in the tick of busy season.
And you know what we did?
What we do?
We stayed on schedule, baby.
We're back with another awesome recording to bring you guys. But instead of boring you guys with some crazy nerdy bug facts that we have, we figured we would kind of look at frequently asked questions and maybe pest control myths that the general public and our customers don't realize or don't know that we do as being experts in our field, right?
So you mean not everyone's as interested in bugs as we are?
Surprisingly not.
Okay, fair enough.
So let's hit on a few things. One thing we get all the time is it safe for my pets? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so with that being said, we treat a lot of high risk locations as far as vet clinics, hospitals, nursing homes, daycares, school districts, food services. And so everything that we use in certain areas have got to be pet friendly, safe. And it also goes back to the training that we give our technicians. We don't just hire guys, train them for a couple weeks, send them out and don't touch them again. We really value training.
Yeah.
We have at minimum monthly staff trainings. A lot of times it's semi-monthly. Our guys are licensed through the Missouri Department of Ag, and a lot of our technicians have taken other specialized courses as well through Purdue University and some other places.
Yep. So going to the Department of Ag, that's basically our governing agency. With that, we have to follow, each product has its own specific label. Another myth would be every product works for everything. We have to kind of know what each product is for in what area, because there's certain products you can use, on the exterior in certain spots that you can't use on the interior, which differs from, your DIY products, stuff you can buy, over the counter. So the active ingredients are different. And then their method of use is very different as well. So our techs have to know the difference of each of those.
Right. And everything, just like other industries, medical field, taxes, accounting, everything changes from year to year, and there's updates and there's new technology and there's new studies and research, and we really strive to stay up to date on those kind of things. So
yeah.
Speaking of DIY methods, that's one thing is I see a lot of old wives' tales, or using cinnamon for ants and other DIY methods. Are those always effective?
One thing that we run into with over-the-counter products, especially when we're dealing with our social insects, such as ants, cockroaches, most over-the-counter products you buy are going to be repellent products. And when you're dealing with those ants and cockroaches, that actually does more harm than good most of the time. It can cause those colonies to split, bud into other areas. So to answer your question, no, they're not always effective. You might get away with it for certain things, but most things, it's not super effective.
I've seen it effective sometimes depending on the type of taro and bait, probably. As long as it doesn't trap the ants inside of it and it's not too quick of a kill. One thing you don't want to do if you have ants in your kitchen or you're trying to get rid of them is sit there and take your finger and squish everything you see going around. And the reason behind you want it to be a slow killing product is so they can take it back to the colony, spread it to the rest of the colony, and eliminate it. You just sit there and squish your ants, or they get trapped in the ant bait and they can't get it back. That colony is just going to keep sending out more. So,
and ants too are heavy pheromone pests, so they leave behind those trails. It could possibly send out somewhat of an alarm signal as well to the others if they figure out something's wrong.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where's more?
So let's talk about, is pest control only necessary for those visible pests?
No.
Why not?
Well, it's always it's all one. There's a few reasons. It's always better to be preventative than wait till you recognize that there's a problem, and to let experts do that with a trained eye. And so, if you wait till you see there's an issue, usually one, it's going to cost more to get it taken care of. Two, it's a bigger problem than most people are going to realize. There's a lot of pests, especially we'll get into here a little bit more, but that will overwinter inside wall voids, inside attics and crawl spaces that you're not going to see when you get up, get ready for work, leave, go to work, and you're only home really in the evenings and the weekends, and you're sleeping at night. And so you're not going to notice that. Not a lot of people go hang out in their crawl space. Not a lot of people go hang out in their attic.
Right.
And so we'll kind of lead into the cold weather issue too.
Sure.
Is there anything you want to touch on that before we move on?
Well, and so kind of you mentioned the crawl space aspect. When you're dealing with one of our most prominent pests in the area, termites, to the untrained eye, you wouldn't even know termites are there unless you were frequenting your crawl space,
Absolutely,
or looking for the mud tubes, the shelter tubes that they leave behind. So you don't really see them. You're not going to be able to take care of them. So,
and on the termite subject, most people don't know that subterranean termites are really the only species of termites we have that thrive in this part of the state. In Southwest Missouri, even that corner of Northwest Arkansas and Southeast Kansas. But it's usually when dry wood and damp wood termites are seen here, they don't really thrive real well. They get brought out on lumber, construction lumber from a different part of the United States, and so all the termites we have to live in the soil. They're colonies in the soil in order to survive. So even they get up into your wall and they get stuck in your wall, they can't get back to that colony. They're still going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got to cycle back to that soil in order to survive. So those are going to be hard to detect to the untrained eye.
Yeah.
So,
and that goes back to, cold weather pests as well. While they don't exactly overwinter, they just stay active year round because they can get down deep into that soil under your house where it's nice, comfortable for them.
Absolutely. And while we're on the termite subject, before we move on, that's another myth, a couple myths of termites that I hear. I don't need termite protection because my homeowner's insurance covers any termite damage or termite treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I have not yet talked to insurance agent. All the networking that I've done, always ask that question just to make sure there's not something out there, but there is no policy that will cover termite treatments and termite damage.
No supplemental anything.
Absolutely not. And another one I hear is I have a brick home.
Yeah,
I won't get termites. So a couple issues there. Termites don't just eat wood, any kind of cellulose material.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be 110% positive there's no cracks in the masonry? There's no gaps in between the brick and the exterior wall? Do you have crawl space? Because there's no bricks in the crawl space that are covering the support piers from the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And so just because you have a brick home doesn't mean you're not going to get termites.
So what about a pole barn with drywall in it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Termites love drywall.
I'm just making sure. Might build that barn house,
Absolutely. You want to hit on cold weather real quick?
You kind of started on that and I took over, and I apologize.
You're fine. We did a lot of
various pests and other time.
A lot of people have seen that cold weather, especially the winters we get here, will kill off all the bugs, and that's just not the case. I actually, I don't remember where I seen it. They did a study, and it takes a good 18 inches of frozen solid ground for 2+ weeks for it to actually affect the pest population.
And we don't get it cold enough for long enough here.
Right.
They, over time, pests have learned how to survive. They've had a lot longer time to figure it out than we have. So we stay buggy all year. And then beyond that, Shawn,
stay buggy. We just stay buggy, San Diego.
But Shawn started to mention the overwintering pests as well. So in the fall, what we see is, different kinds of pests make their way into your home where it's nice and warm. And they may stay there all winter and basically go into a dormant state and pop out when it starts getting warm again. So
it's like the attic and the wall boys, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Our Insectishield program, a couple reasons we treat the attics in the wintertime during our interior services. And one, our technicians aren't in the attic when it's 130, 140 degrees in the attic. We don't want guys passing out. We don't want guys going through your ceiling. Two is we use a dust pesticide in the attic space. And that lasts a long time, as long as it's not disturbed by something like moisture or whatever. But that stays active for what we use up to 10 months. So even though it's cold and, December, January, February, we might be making that application, when the weather starts warming up in that early spring and stuff starts moving around, that's just been kind of hibernating and overwintering, they're still going to get in that product. It's still going to be active.
Yep. Yeah, 10 months, even some. So we have a product, our spider product too, up to a year as well. So once again, most people are not getting in their attic space, disturbing that. So that does stay active for a very long time and just keeps working for us.
Yeah.
So, Shawn, here's one for you. Pest control. It's a one-time fix. What's your thoughts on that?
Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. It might take care of a current issue you got going on at the time, but usually pests are attracted to a certain type of environment or biological factor. So if that doesn't change, it's just going to happen again.
Sure.
We're trained to make recommendations and spot those things, but like I said earlier, it's always going to cost more if you wait till you have an issue that needs addressed rather than being preventive about it and making sure it doesn't happen.
So go back to product usage too. Each pest has its own set of habits. When you're talking a one-time service for maybe spiders is very different than cockroaches or ants, for example, because that one-time service may not cut it. Roaches, we knock out 95% of the population that first service. The hard part is that last 5%. So making sure that we have to set those expectations with our clients, but then number two, making sure we get the job taken care of as well. So that's kind of a loaded question, isn't it?
It is. One-time services, sometimes they're going to be super effective that first time, but depending on the pest and the amount of the infestation and the amount of the problem, it's going to take more than one time to take care of that problem.
Yeah.
Stuff like I've been in really bad German roach cleanouts or cleanouts for mice. And, one thing I always try to stress is it didn't happen overnight. So
sure.
It's probably not going away overnight. You're going to see a huge decrease in activity after we're there one time.
Yep.
But sometimes it's going to take a couple times to get it eradicated.
And the same, we talked about this last time, but brown recluse, we don't even offer a service for a one-time brown recluse clean out. It's multiple steps. And once again, we're very, very honest and forthcoming when we're talking with our clients that it's just not feasible to think that we're going to knock everything out one time.
Absolutely.
While it would be nice, probably wouldn't be safe for you to be in your home either. So
it's not the 60s anymore, right?
It's not.
All bugs are pests. We hear that a lot. Is that accurate?
Many bugs are beneficial to our environment. Spiders in particular would be a good example. Another thought I have is, we're not out to kill every bug that roams the earth. We're just here to keep your home protected from the ones getting inside. So that trail of ants on your sidewalk, 40 feet from your house, probably not a real pest, more of a bug at that point. Yeah.
How about some other beneficial bugs? How about ladybugs?
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. What do they eat?
I don't know.
They eat aphids.
Well, yeah.
They're beneficial, right?
Sure.
So, spiders eat other insects. That's another thing too. If you're seeing a lot of brown recluse activity, you got a bunch of dead insects laying around your door sweeps or your sliding glass doors, you're just providing a buffet for spiders.
Yeah. So, and back to termites. They're nature's cleanup crew, pretty much. We don't want to kill every termite because they do a lot of nature's work decomposing wood that's rotting and
pollinators.
Absolutely.
We do a lot of training with our guys on
how to treat.
Yeah, where to treat, what not to treat, and taking that special consideration when it comes to pollinators in certain areas.
Yeah.
So, chemicals are smelly and potentially hazardous.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting, and I think a lot of people still have the same idea of what pest control is. And as you kind of alluded to earlier, things change. It becomes safer and safer. The products we use are odorless. There are a few products that may still be used that might have an odor to them, but compared to the old days of pest control,
Yeah.
I used to hear, if it can't smell it, it's not working, kind of thing from some people. And
I've heard the same thing a few times.
yeah, but all the products we use are virtually odorless and still very effective.
Especially in the residential setting.
Yeah.
Really, the only thing that we use that has a little bit of an odor to it, we use in commercial kitchens on a quarterly basis. We do something different on the other months that we're there. We're talking residential. Virtually everything we use indoors is going to be odorless and stainless both.
Yep. Absolutely.
What else? Go ahead. It's your turn.
So ultrasonic devices, are they effective or are they not?
Talking about the commercials where you plug it in, it gets rid of all the roaches and mice.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one any.
Yeah.
There's I'll tell a story real quick that probably tell you everything you need to know. But 2 different houses. One was one of the worst mouse cleanouts I did. One was one of the worst German roaches cleanouts I did, to the point where you had German roaches crawling all over the walls and the ceilings in the middle of the day with lights on.
Mm-hmm.
And I unplugged at least 3 of the ultrasonic devices from those outlets so we could plug in our extension cords to use our equipment.
Yeah.
So obviously
not the best
solution there.
So what's the thought process? I guess it uses the sound waves to deter them.
Deterrent.
Okay.
I've not seen them used effectively. I'm not saying they don't have some benefit, but I wouldn't waste my money.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Pest control companies only spray. So we get that a lot. Are you here to spray? Can you spray here? Can you spray this? We have a lot of treatment methods and applications that we make other than just quote, coming to spray.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of our recent radio commercials is kind of funny because our owner Ivan says, recent university study shows that all baseboards are practically dead already. Why do so many pest control companies just go around treating baseboard?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to elaborate on some things that we do there and the reason, we can talk about the reasons behind them too.
Yeah. Our approach is not a blanket. We're going to treat every wall floor junction that you have. But select amounts of pesticide in certain areas can be far more effective. So we utilize that liquid. And then he mentioned the dust earlier. So obviously in those areas that remain undisturbed, that's going to be a far better application made than a liquid that would, its lifespan is a lot shorter, I guess what I'm trying to say. Beyond that, flushing agents as well. When we're dealing in roaches, ants,
bed bugs, we do heat treatments. Get all those treatments done with our heaters and our fans. And so there's a lot more options than just spraying. We do physical exclusion, certain in the fall at our accounts. So we're caulking areas and trying to exclude pests from getting in the first place. So
there's a lot more to it. It meets the eye.
So just come and spray one generic pesticide. So
I'm sure some people do, but we don't.
Yeah, we don't.
And you can go beyond that. I mean, bird control, something completely different.
Bird control, insect light traps. We have at some of our hospitals, some of our food service accounts, restaurants,
baits,
bait applications.
Yeah, all kinds of different things. So, trying to think of what else we've heard throughout the years. What about, if you leave a problem, it'll just go away on its own?
I think that kind of ties in with the one-time fix, but to a different extent, to level, right? But no, usually if you leave a problem, it's going to get worse. Even if you say one spring you see some ants in your kitchen counter, kitchen windows, they go away on their own. You think it's all taken care of. Next spring rolls around, the conditions are a little bit more conducive, and now you have a crazy ant situation, right? And same with German roaches. So you see some German. For those who don't know, most of the time German roaches don't come from the outside. They're hitchhikers. They get brought in from other people on codes, on belongings, on boxes, and so, I mean, if you just let that go, they thrive inside, right?
Absolutely.
So, bed bugs, uh, they only keep reproducing.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
any of those issues, especially when it comes to roaches, when it comes to brown recluse, when it comes to bed bugs, if you ignore those situations, the problem's going to multiply. It's going to multiply fast. Mice, uh, they mice don't know the difference in inbreeding. So as soon as they're, have litter, almost immediately ready to breed again. And so definitely want to get on top of it.
Yeah. So what if you walk out your back patio and you see praying mantis near your door? I think if you left that alone, it would leave you alone.
I'm thinking that probably.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
And another question. So only dirty homes get bug problems. True or false?
False. Okay. You want to tell them why?
Sure. Sanitation is a huge part, making sure your house is clean protects you from some things. However, bugs aren't after crumbs and just clutter all the time. They're after water sources, which every home, I guess most homes probably have a water source inside. They're after a good place to stay, quiet, away from the weather, that sort of thing. So while sanitation definitely plays a big part in a lot of pests, it's not doesn't mean your home is completely safe, I should say.
It's true. And we talked about the hitchhiking pests, the German cockroaches, bed bugs, typical main two culprits. They don't care if it's clean. They don't care if it's dirty.
Right.
We have done bed bug heat treatments in pristine 8,000 square foot homes that have full-time cleaners. And we've done bed bug heat treatments in small homes that are cluttered and have sanitation issues. And it's the same with German cockroaches too. So
yeah, it varies a lot, but just because your home is immaculate doesn't mean you won't get bugs.
Absolutely. A lot of people are embarrassed to discuss the pest issues they have as well.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to be embarrassed about. We live in a world full of pests.
Yeah.
This world would be overran with mice and rats if there was pest control companies. So
yeah, absolutely.
What else do you think of? Anything
off the top of my head? No.
Okay.
We answered a lot.
We answered a lot of questions. Hopefully this helps you guys make some better informed decisions. If you got any questions, you can always go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
So say, one of our listeners has a problem and they call you. What would be your standard process when you get that call, to get them taken care of?
So one, we want to know what issues they're having, how long they've been having those issues. Really want to get something on the schedule for them, even if it's just inspection, or they can text in a photo of the pest that they're seeing, so we can make a positive ID on that pest and know the treatment method behind there before we just start sending guys.
Yeah, so you touch something huge. We get calls and texts all day about well, maybe I've got a roach, but it turns out it's a water bug or a ground beetle or something. So you can actually text our main office number, 417-831-7378. That's a textable number, and we can identify those pests. Make sure if you do that, you let us know who you are. But with that, we're able to put your mind at ease a little bit, because a lot of times it's not what you think it is.
Absolutely.
Number two, it allows our technicians to be prepared for the treatment that they need to make as well. So
that's it. Another thing we really didn't touch on here, a lot of people think bed bug, any bug they find is the best bed bug. Yeah. And so we ask for pictures, not because we think that you guys don't know what you're looking at or what you don't know what you're talking about. We look on it because we've been prepared to do certain treatments for certain pests, and and send people out to do services, and it's not even the correct pest.
Right.
And so
Right.
I've had people mistake ladybugs and Asian lady beetles for bed bugs.
Yep.
Bat bugs are very similar to bed bugs. And so that's why, I get a lot of people who say they've seen roaches, but it's really ground beetles. I think you touched on that, but that's why we ask for pictures to get sent in so we can get our eyes on it.
I promise you would much rather pay for a roach treatment versus a bed bug treatment.
Absolutely, 100%.
So what about your commercial side? You get a call, you've got spiders, in my business. I need you to come out, take a look, see what's going on. What's that process like?
So I'll, from time, go out there, take a look around. And what I do is I inspect the entire interior from top to bottom. Same with the outside, and just kind of evaluate what's going on. But our pricing commercially is not based on square footage. It's not one blanket price. So it's based on the time it takes to complete the service. And so, whatever I feel like the time the technician needs to get the service done is what the price is based on. And so it's not a cookie cutter,
Right.
blanket sheet, that we base it on, but we also want to make sure that all the issues are going to be addressed. On that initial service, we want to not only am I doing an inspection, the initial service technician is doing an inspection, he's going to address any issues and get the regular service done.
Yeah.
So then we want to maintain it going forward.
Yeah. Well, I think you covered that great.
Thanks. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Here's the address.
Now, what do I do? I make sure Shawn has everything he needs.
Yeah, that's really all he does. His email has been going off this whole time we've been recording. So he answers a lot of email.
I do. I do. Quite a bit.
You've been having to run some route work there recently, though, right?
Yeah. It's a miracle we're on schedule. We're on schedule. That's all that needs to be said.
Perfect.
It's 34 years of continuous growth. So with that comes some growing pains occasionally, and we've got to step up and take care of some things occasionally. So
we all just work together for one common goal.
That's right.
But yeah, hopefully you guys take a little bit of value from that today.
Yeah.
If there's any questions you have on what we covered, or you have any questions for us to cover on future episodes, you can always leave that question on our Facebook page. You can shoot me an email at sales@bugzero.com. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today. We're almost out of time.
If you have any interest on being on here too, we do highlight the local businesses as well. So if you'd like to get on, talk about your business a little bit, more than happy to have you on.
Absolutely.
We might make fun of you a little bit, but
that's given. That's
on occasions.
No baby.
Yeah, you'll get made fun of, but it's all fun. We're pretty nice for the most part.
Absolutely. So. Well, cool. Thanks guys for listening today, and we'll be back with next episode here in a couple weeks.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Creepy crawlers invading your home? Bug Zero. Spiders, ants, and flies? Oh my. Bug Zero. Bed bugs and mosquitoes leave you itchy for help? Bug Zero. Whether it's bugs in your home or bugs eating your home, Bug Zero has you protected. With both residential and commercial services, Bug Zero's comprehensive pest protection takes you from infestation to extermination.